Welcome to FranchiseWire Live, your source for all things franchising. Remember to subscribe to FranchiseWire Live on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for the latest in news, events, and happenings in franchising, bookmark franchisewire.com. Now here's the host of FranchiseWire Live, IFPG President, Red Boswell.
Welcome back to FranchiseWire Live. I'm your host, Red Boswell, president of the International Franchise Professionals Group, IFPG. And today's sponsor is our friends at Pollinate. Pollinate is a loyalty platform owned by Franchise Payment Networks. Everybody loves Tom Epstein. Reach out to pollinate.com, POLN8. And you won't regret checking them out. Now, why you are here today is Miss Mary Kennedy-Thompson. She is COO of Neighborly. I imagine there's quite a few folks with Neighborly tattoos by now. They are the global behemoth franchisor, home services provider. I sincerely have their magnet on my refrigerator at home because anything I need done, they can do it. Mary, thanks so much and welcome to today's FranchiseWire Live.
Thanks, Red, and thanks for being a Neighborly customer. We love each and every one of our customers and appreciate that they entrust us to go into their homes and repair, maintain, or enhance their home or property.
You do it all, and I was not disappointed. You guys were out just a month ago with, Mr. Handyman?
Mm-hmm. Mr.
Okay.
Handyman, yes.
Almost messed that one up. So Mr. Handyman came out and we got also franchise Water Station Technologies. I got a water purification system and I'm thinking it's just a little thing you set on the counter. No, you got to connect it into the water line up through the counter. Well, I've got a 10-foot by 8-foot, island with one piece of granite. I'm not drilling a hole in that. You guys came right out, popped it in. Oh, my wife still is married to me because of it. So.
Good.
Well, see, we're so great at chasing rabbits. Can you share with the random, very small percentage of folks who are not familiar with Neighborly, the size and scope of what y'all do?
Yes. So at Neighborly, we focus on all things repair, maintain, or enhance somebody's home or property. So imagine we have 16 brands in North America, 25 brands across the globe. Most anything that you would need done to your home, we do it, whether it's plumbing for Mr. Rooter or hanging a ceiling fan with Mr. Electric or getting your windows cleaned with Window Genie, and Window Genie also does holiday lights, to getting your house cleaned with Molly Maid, Mr. Handyman you touched on. So it goes across all of that. And if you want your, make sure you don't have mosquitoes in your backyard, Mosquito Joe is there to take care of that. So anything, all of our different brands cover all those areas. Well,
Mosquito Concepts sure hot. We're doing a lot of Mosquito Joe deals. And
yes, you are.
We were just talking about you yesterday with Scott Abbott with 5-Star Painting.
Yes, and we one of our brands is 5-Star Painting. We have 5-Star Painting and ProTech Painting. They're one brand at this point now, and it's one of our faster growing, really well-established brands now, doing very well for themselves. And we, through this pandemic, it's been nice to, for us, we've had some really good tailwinds because most people are living in their homes. I'm working, teleworking from my home office right here and have been since March. And I've never in my entire adult life spent so much time in my home. And I had to have so many people out to do things in my home. And you mentioned Mosquito Joe. Backyards became the new place for recess for all children, and parents who don't want to worry about the children getting vector-borne diseases, they're making sure Mosquito Joe is coming out. And we're just seeing that time and again through all of our different services.
Well, I'm so impressed that you have the Neighborly symbol, on the wall of your home.
Thank goodness for virtual backgrounds. I just love them. We like to have some fun with our virtual backgrounds around here.
But you have any Christmas backgrounds?
Let's see. I think I do.
You do? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. This one I really much enjoy because who doesn't like Santa Claus and making sure that he's peering over your shoulder and doing the right thing? Or sometimes when I just want a happy holidays and celebrate, we live in Texas. We don't see a lot of snow. My personal favorite one is the one with, to me, it kind of represents what I see as Christmas, which is just all the bright stars and the bright lights that everyone is to each other's lives in the giving that you see.
Nice. That is beautiful. Well, speaking of your great organization and the givers that are there, I had a pleasure of having lunch last month with your relatively new CDO, Brad Stevenson. Great guy. Kudos to you. And I certainly have talked to Brandon and worked with Brandon over the years, who's just, mega support for Brad and the whole marketing and Fran Dev team. And then a fella that I talk to almost weekly, Austin Meek, who's taken over your consultant relationships.
Mm-hmm. Well, all three of those gentlemen are just really good at what they do. Brandon probably has forgotten more about franchise development than most people will ever know in a lifetime. He's just an amazing powerhouse of really knowing how to help people sell a dream. And that's what we do. I love that we get to live that dream. And Brad has done he's just with us about a year now. He's done a really nice job of lifting our whole department up. And Austin is just a great connector. He's doing a wonderful job connecting all of the different organizations to Neighborly.
Yeah, he really is. Back probably, three-ish years ago, I was at probably the Franchise Update Media Group Franchise Leadership and Development Conference. Love that show. No, it wasn't that one. It was an actual consultant or broker conference. And because I looked across the room and I saw not Robert Tunmeyer, your previous CDO, but his right-hand man.
Brandon?
42 years with you.
That's Robert Tunmeyer. He was our VP of Executive Vice President of Development for 44 years.
And then, but his right-hand man that was 42 years.
Oh, was that Mike?
Mike, thank you. I need another coffee. I saw Mike across the room and I was like, wait a minute. I know Neighborly does not work with consultants. It might've been even Dyer at the time. And I went over and talked to him. Mike, what are you doing here, man? And he said, we acquired 3 new brands, Service Brands International up north, and they had grown almost exclusively through consultants. And we said, we got to check this out more because, and I've used y'all so many times as an example that a multi-million-dollar or even multi-billion-dollar brands that are out there that can have dozens and dozens of people in franchise development, pounding phones and spending millions in marketing and getting on the portals and the SEO like nobody's business and the pay-per-click all over the place. They still have a very big opportunity in the consultant world. And that's what Mike really helped enlighten me. He just said, basically, we realized, Red, that there are leads we will never see that brokers will see. And
what I love about when we acquire brands, they learn some things from us, and more importantly, we learn things from them. And that was 5 years ago, believe it or not, when we acquired Service Brands. Molly Maid and Mr. Handyman and Protect Painters all been with us that long now. And what we learned was there was opportunity working with brokers and consultants, and the person who wants to have that relationship with that broker to go and see all the different opportunities out there, they weren't mutually exclusive. We didn't have to do it all this way or all this way. We could do it both. And we found that to be quite successful for us.
Just another great lead source for you. And it seems to be working. We love working with you guys. I know there's been a lot happening, and we had a whole bunch of folks planning on coming down, seeing your cool headquarters in Waco. And this dang COVID thing got in the way of everybody's life. But
yes, it has.
Hopefully we'll get it going soon. And by the way, going down to Waco, well, I'm in Dallas, so Waco's about 2 hours away, but you've got a new office. Brad gave me a hint that it was coming, and now I've been seeing some press about it just down the road in central DFW in Las Colinas. How did that come together?
First I'll start with about time. One of the things that we found was that there was a lot of opportunity to bring talent into our team who really had a preference for Dallas, especially on the IT side, the marketing side, the development side, and even some of the operational side as well. And so we've been looking at it for quite some time, and we're right off of Highway 114 and just have a beautiful office that we're just finishing putting together. If you drive down the highway, you'll see our Neighborly sign at the top of the building, and we're quite excited about it. And we're bringing some of our brands that we have acquired over the last few years into that office as well. So we'll probably be, close to being as big, as many people in Dallas as in Waco. And it allows us to have some really good synergies that we're looking forward to. And probably like most companies, we're doing a lot of teleworking these days.
Yeah.
And so we were able to set up this office kind of to have what we call hotel spaces, where I can come in and work from there, or because I live in between both. I'm as equally as close to Dallas as I am to Waco. And so I can drive to either. And I have brands in both places. And so it allows me to have that time to go work with them.
Awesome. Well, I got to see the wonderful Dina Dyer Owens a week or two ago at West Palm Beach at Palm Beach Atlantic University, Titus Center for Franchising. And she has been such an icon and a spokesperson for Neighborly and prior to Wire. Do you get to see her much anymore?
Well, first of all, congratulations on, I know that you were the recipient for the scholarship, Don Dwyer Scholarship. And well done, Red, well done.
That's a massive honor.
Absolutely. I haven't seen Dina in about a year now, mostly because of COVID, because we're all teleworking and she has been on a sabbatical, and she's been so disciplined about being on her sabbatical. She really has focused on her family and her faith and what she wants to do there. We talk fairly often. I know she's doing well. I'll look forward to the days that we can all gather again.
Amen. Yeah. Well, about a year ago, I called her up and I said, Dina, we would love to have you specifically, Dina, as our keynote for the IFPG retreat. There's 400 folks there, over 100 franchisors. It's a great time, and we would be honored to have her. And she just immediately, grateful. Of course, she goes, Red, I'm taking a year off. I was like, you're taking a year off? You mean a week? No, a year. So she took us a nice, big fat sabbatical, and hopefully we'll have her integrated and be a part of it in the future once we get out of this crisis.
Yeah, it's impressive to watch her discipline for that. I'm pretty sure I couldn't be that disciplined.
Right. But I think the new grandbaby certainly helped that.
Yes.
Jealous
Absolutely.
for sure. Well, Neighborly continues to grow and grow. I keep thinking, okay, they're where they want to be. And here comes 2 more brands. And then new countries and continue a growth. The marketing, aggressive marketing of the brands continues to blow my mind. I mean, when I got the snail mail a few months ago with a magnet with all the home services brands on it that I could pop on the refrigerator, I'm thinking, I bet they spent $1 million+ just getting this word out there. I don't know how your competition competes, frankly.
One of the things I really enjoy working for Mike Bidwell, he's quite the visionary. I don't think people realize what a visionary is. And, our vision is to be so remarkable we become a beloved household name. I love that we be remarkable in our interactions with our customers, with our franchise owners, with our suppliers and vendors, with one another, this being remarkable makes us this beloved household name. And Mike really had this vision long ago about getting everybody under one umbrella. But we really couldn't get there till we had the name and understanding. And I still remember sitting in the session, our chief marketing officer, Lisa Zollner, who is quite remarkable in her way as well in marketing, when we were going through working with the different agencies, and they came back and they said, you're Neighborly. That's what you are. And everyone in the room just kind of sat there for a minute. It's like, that's true. We are. That's exactly what we are. We're Neighborly. And, really, it's our purpose to build a service community that enriches people's lives by delivering amazing experiences. That's our purpose. That's what we focus on. And once we had that beacon to go toward, we just started running faster and faster and faster toward that. And Mike's a high growth individual. Great. That's great that we did that yesterday. And let's take a moment, and literally a moment, to celebrate it. Now let's look for what we should do next. And he makes everyone around him a lot better and stronger because he's so growth minded.
And so humble. He's just a great leader. I still remember like it happened yesterday in 2009. I went down there. Dina had invited me down. I was a franchisor at the time. She rolled out literally red carpet, and I got to go around to all the execs and spend an hour here, hour there, just learning and sucking up every bit of wisdom and best practices I could as a fairly young franchisor. But I was a home services with a little bit of business services included. And so we even had lunch with me and your old in-house counsel, Duke, and Tom, your CFO.
Wow. Yeah.
It was a great time, and they gave me answered every question. And at the end, it's kind of surreal thinking back on it. They said, "Red, anything else we can do? What other questions can we ask?" And this is just gigantic company helping little old Red and his tiny little franchise. And I said, "Well," and I'm shaking. I'm kind of nervous as can be. I go, "Would you ever consider acquiring me?" You know? And I was already looking at houses in Waco. I mean, I thought this is such a wonderful culture. I can't wait to be a part of it. I was assuming to sell in my little psychology here. And I'm talking to Dina. She's the figurehead, the CEO maybe at the time. And the room got quiet. And they look at each other, and they all look at Mike. In 2009, now Mike was not CEO, but he was already that guy. Dina,
he stepped in 2015, and he's just been such a rock in our company for so long. I always say he can say more with 10 words than most people can say with 100. And his intensity and his passion, his son is a franchise owner, and I think that keeps him very grounded as to what our franchise owners go through and experience. And nice. One of my nephews is a franchise owner in one of our brands as well. And it's been a nice reminder to me about what's important and where our focus should be.
Awesome. Well, you're right. He probably answered that question in 10 words. He's like, if you don't have a call center and a billing and collection center, we're in. I'm like, okay, well, I'll get back to you on that. That was a little bit of a complicated model back then. Neighborly. Future predictions, not just, you don't have to give any neighborly specific predictions, but man, franchising is such an exciting world. The new year is upon us. Where do you see any trends? You can talk finance, you can talk operations, you can talk technology. What advice or insights or predictions do you have for franchisors listening, Mary, that might be helpful?
Well, one of the things I keep seeing, reading about, and trying to get my arms wrapped around is we all know, and you've experienced this, you were around during the Great Recession, that, during the recessions, people often will get into franchising because they want to control their own destiny. They're a white collar refugee, and they start looking, I expect the next few years for franchising, we will have a lot of opportunity to bring franchisees in. And with that, what I really think is going to happen is millennials are going to wake up and say, why have I not thought about being a franchisee before now? Because millennials are this group that seek safety. They've always thought they were in these jobs that were safe jobs, that they were safe. And then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden they were in a non-essential position or non-essential work, and they weren't safe. But they like safety. And having been a franchisee myself, what I loved about it, I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I had collective buying power, collective intelligence, a system I could step into and this brand recognition that I didn't have to create from the ground up. And I believe that millennials who want to control their own destiny and have had this upending happening to them, but also seeking safety, they're going to flock toward franchising. And I think we better make sure in franchising that we're ready for that. Talking their language. And they are very motivated. Both my children are millennials. They're very motivated by belonging to something bigger than themselves and something that's doing something good. And so making sure that, like having a clear vision and a clear mission, they'll come to you for that. For us, our values, which have been around for years, I think we're year 28 with our code of values, they really ground us and keep us focused on what's important, help us make better decisions. And I believe millennials are drawn to that.
Absolutely are. We all really are, but millennials really just get the credit for it all. That's part of their DNA. Speaking of y'all's DNA and the culture of neighborly, remember a decade maybe ago reading Live Rich that Dina wrote. What a great book.
It is.
If anybody hasn't read Live Rich, easy read, short read, no doubt affordable on Amazon, check it out. It's a terrific read, helping you understand setting in a culture of integrity within franchising.
And
Solid.
for us, when we have 3 or more associates that meet, we recite our values, or we pick one value to really focus on. You might have a really thorny meeting you're going into, and we'll say one of our values is operating in a responsible manner above the line. And it's not just what the contract says, but the spirit and intent of doing the right thing. And so we might start a meeting with, you know what, let's really focus on operating above the line. Let's really make sure one of our values is communicating honestly and with purpose. What does purposeful communication look like? And how do we do it in a way that we don't have to beat around the bush and we can get to a good place? And so I like that, because it gives us this bedrock to stand on. And when things are, when the pandemic started hitting, the first thing we asked ourselves, is this the right thing to do? We had to change a lot of systems. We're in people's homes and making sure that our service professionals were doing what they needed to do to protect themselves and to protect the homeowners as well. And we always started from, are we operating in a responsible manner?
Yeah. Well, what you just said there, operating that responsible manner and looking at the crisis and making those pivots to show respect and show safety during this time, it's not going to go away. When COVID goes away, that will stay.
It's interesting. We have a company-wide meeting every quarter, and the last three company-wide meetings have been via Bring Central or Zoom meetings. And we brought on a doctor and his team that were specialized in viruses. And all he did was talk to us about how we can keep ourselves safe, and talked a lot about the masks and why keeping the viral load down. But it really one of the things that struck me was he said that even with the virus, with the vaccine, you're still going to have to wear masks, because it won't completely keep you from not passing it on to somebody else. He says we've probably got another year of wearing masks, and I think those days, the days that we didn't ever thought about how often we washed our hands and what kind of masks we wore and when we wore them, we're going to be doing that for a long time.
There's some people that will never shake another hand,
Yeah.
Do you have neighborly masks?
We have neighborly masks, and we have masks for our brands and for our service professionals. That was one of the things we had to pay attention to, was as we started, for a while, it was like the Wild West show. Everyone was looking for a mask. And then you realize that was as much a part of the uniform as anything else that we had, and making sure that it was the right mask that they were using. And for some people, masks become a statement.
Yeah.
And we always want to make sure that the right statement's going out there.
You don't need a Motley Crue mask.
No.
or a political statement mask that can get very offensive quickly. Wow. Yeah. The things you don't think about until it happens, and you're like, oh my goodness, time for a new page in the operations manual.
If a year ago you had told me you're going to spend almost all of 2020 working out of your home, and you're going to actually think about what kind of design goes on face masks, I would have said you're crazy.
Yeah. IFPG has them too. Mine's red. Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Beautiful. Well, looking forward to the new year. Now, as operations, I don't see you at a whole lot of the FranDev shows, but and heck, the IFA has now gone virtual. So I'm not sure where I'll see you next, but hopefully sooner rather than later. I'll certainly see Austin. He comes up here often, and we're able to catch up. And Brad and I are going to do lunch probably next month. So we really enjoy working with you. I've not met, it's like I heard somebody say once a decade or two ago, I've never met a mean person from West Texas. It's just like good old people. And I'd say the same about Neighborly.
That's funny. That's what drove me to, back then it was Dyer Group, and I was in a company called Cookies by Design that I grew up in and loved. And every Dyer Group person, neighborly person I ran into, I was impressed with. They had heart, they had soul, they had passion. They were very clear about what they were doing. And I wanted to belong to something bigger like that. I really felt like it would take me to a whole new level, and it has. And one of the things I like about having values is that you start attracting people who are attracted to those types of values. And so you start, and what makes an organization strong is diversity. We have diverse people, diversity of ideas, diversity of thought, and all of us come together to these set principles that we all agree on. And it just brings us a lot of strength.
Absolutely. And y'all communicate it so well in your discovery days, in your franchise discovery process. It's so clear in each step of it, because I've gone through some of it. I've talked to your team, and I love the very clear and concise communication of that from day one, from communication one, that this is who we are. And if that's not who you are, love you anyway, but not a good fit.
And we will say that. We'll say, if these don't resonate with you, if this isn't important to you, we're probably not for you.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want is diverse people from all over the world coming in, and we live our values, whether it's in Germany or the UK or Canada or Louisiana. Our values, that's part of our DNA.
Yeah, they're universal values that are important to anyone with some integrity and common sense. I think it's a great group. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what company you acquire next, and being a great part of helping it grow. Gang, we've been blessed by Mary Kennedy-Thompson with Neighborly. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us today on FranchiseWire Live.
Thanks so much, Red, and wish you and your family most happy holidays.
Amen. Thank you. Happy holidays to you too, Mary. See you soon.
Bye.